Hi, my name is Vivian from Autism Dream City, and I'm here with
Syra Duran.
Ms. Syra. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Sure. I have it's myself and my husband, and we're here in Miami with my lovely daughter Mila, who is 9, and my son Mateo, who is 8.
I have been working with Mila for 3 years and seen a lot of progress. What can you say about Mila?
Where to begin with Mila? Okay. So she's not really 1 in a million. Mila is 1 in 5 million, more or less. So what I mean by that is that she has a very rare diagnosis that's out there, and there's only about 2,600 cases worldwide that are known this day. So her story pretty much starts out when she was pretty young. We went to an early pediatrician appointment, and she had less words than some of her toddler peers. So we went and did some early intervention things, and we were noticing some narrow focus and some stimming in her hands. And we ended up seeing a neurologist around age 2, and he diagnosed her with autism spectrum disorder. I thought it might be a milder case. My life changed from that day on. I'll never forget that day.
What was your emotions that same day?
Oh, he said that, and then he carried on for about 15 minutes, and I have no idea what he said after that. It was just, that was what I was stuck on. So I wasn't expecting that. I didn't think that that was the case at all, but I don't know. I'd never met anyone with autism. I didn't know what that meant for us. So we took his suggestions pretty seriously, and we went full force with aggressive therapies: speech therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral therapy, physical therapy, ABA. We started ABA like crazy, amount of time. And she started to make progress until a certain point. And then we started to see that we were losing some skills.
At what age was that you would notice?
Around age 3.
3. So she had
Yeah.
some gains.
She had some gains.
And then around 3.
Right. So one of the biggest things we noticed with her is the lack of speech, or how speech is it's always been a little difficult for her to come by. But around age 2.5, it was documented that she's there and she's able to say her ABCs, and she can count to 10, and she knows what sounds the cow makes and the sheep makes, and she sings her favorite songs by filling in the blanks on them. But then slowly after time, those words, those vocalizations start disappearing. And, that prompted our doctors to give more advanced testing, like EEGs and MRIs. And we did a genetic test way back at that time. And it didn't really pull up anything of great significance, and it was kind of like, okay, keep doing what you're doing. So by age 4, we were down from those 300 words and sounds to just 12. And that was pretty heartbreaking to see things that we knew that she really wanted,
right,
like the swing or phone. And she used to have those words for it, and we were trained as parents to hold it back from her so that she says the word before she gets it, but then she just couldn't find that word anymore. And so we just knew that a piece of the puzzle was missing. We didn't have all the information, and I wasn't happy with just that autism diagnosis, because from what I had been told about autism is that if you do X, Y, and Z, you're going to see some improvements. They might be really small inch stones, not milestones, but you're going to see improvement. And we were going the opposite direction. So many doctors later, and after a lot of searching and my own research, we ended up finding a neurologist that was willing to give an extra genetic panel test. Even though we had done a genetic testing years back, we tried this, and it tested specifically for certain genes that are known to be cause autism. And sure enough, that one came up with a bright red flag.
Right.
Yep. So at that point, right around age 5, she was diagnosed with Phelan-McDermott syndrome, and there were only 1,400 cases at that time. Now, fast forward 4 years later, there are 2,600. And Phelan-McDermott syndrome is really interesting because it is, I believe, the most common autism gene-related syndrome there is. But yet there's only 2,600 cases, and there's so many cases of autism. And the reason for this is because there's just not that many people that know to get these specific tests.
Right.
You know, you have to have that
To
right.
seek further.
Right.
To seek further.
Right.
And to dig deeper.
Exactly.
To get more clear.
Exactly. Because for her, in her case, she has a single point mutation, which is the smallest amount of
Right.
DNA that can be turned around. And so this test was able to detect that. And then, you know, I went that night when I got the test results back.
Yeah.
I asked the doctor, so does this mean she's diagnosed with the syndrome that it says here on the page? And he said, nope. Doesn't mean that. I don't know. I don't know enough about that. And she has a mutation, not a deletion. So, you know, so who knows? So it took me another 6 months then to get a formal diagnosis from someone. So, but looking it up then, all these other characteristics that I always knew she had was right there on the page, and I was like, this is my daughter. This describes her. You know, she's got low muscle tone, and she overheats very easily, or she can get, you know, her body doesn't sweat like a neurotypical child does. So we have to be really careful here in the Miami heat to not be outside for more than 10 minutes on an 85-degree day, or she starts to wilt.
And how does that impact your family, like your immediate family in general, now that you have a child that you have to make sure she has a cooling system and she has maybe medication administered and sleep patterns, eating patterns? How did that adjust for your family? How did that affect your family in a sense?
Well, it affects our family in a huge way, but it hasn't been an adjustment because it's all we've ever known. You know,
Okay.
when we got the diagnosis, it's not like she was all of a sudden some different child. She was still our kid,
Right.
and we still knew her and loved her, and, you know, was going to expect what she was going to do. But now we had a little bit more information to be able to look to the future and say, we need to look out for this, and we need to look out for that. But daily life is very different than those
Right.
folks that have their neurotypical kids. You know,
Right.
we've got locks on our doors and a top lock as well, because if she wants to go outside, if she finds her way outside, she's going to run down the street. She has no fear of.
Yeah, there's safety issues and there's more precautions and
Right.
extra precautions.
Absolutely. So, you know.
How long did it take for you to be comfortable to tell your friends and your family members and that you were comfortable enough to tell them her diagnosis and what it was all about?
The autism diagnosis was a little harder on me. I think because I wasn't expecting it at all, and I didn't know, you know, I had no idea what the future was going to hold. Or, you know, at that time, that was when she was 2, she was so similar to her peers in so many ways, so I didn't really see it so much yet. So, you know, maybe the doctors made a mistake, maybe, you know, I don't know, I guess I was in denial for sure. So it was harder to kind of let them all know and let them in. With the Phelan-McDermott syndrome diagnosis, it was kind of a relief in some ways to know.
Guidance.
Right.
Guidance. What would you like to see, in what area would you like to see Mila succeed in? Something.
Goodness, everything.
Or many areas. Yeah, many areas.
I mean, everything. I want the world for her. I want her to be able to do, you know, have all the luxuries and life experiences that my son would have. I mean, our immediate goals are mainly with communication. Being able to get her point across to where we understand it. And with some things, she clearly communicates to us. You know, if she's hungry, she's gonna grab our hand and she's gonna walk us across the house, and she's gonna slap my hand on the doorknob to the pantry and then pull her hand up and show us exactly what she wants, you know, or thirsty, or she doesn't want something, she'll push it away. But we might see or assume that she's hurt in some way. She's not feeling right, and we don't know what that is. We don't know if it's a tummy ache, if she has a rock in her shoe, if she has a migraine, or if there's something really serious going on. We have no idea. You know, and another part of her diagnosis is an advanced tolerance to pain. So again, it's like if something's feeling off with her, it could be something really major, and we don't know. So for her to be able to figure that out would be huge. And you know, just to know what it is that she loves to do. Some things we know, but like, you know, what's her favorite color? What would she rather, you know, what would she rather wear? Or so to be able to get a little bit more understanding of what's going on in her mind would be ideal.
How hard or how easy was it for you to find resources that best fit Mila?
Very, very difficult. Very hard to come by. When we were initially looking at schools, I remember, you know, I mean, everything along the way was difficult. We had her first in a typical pre-K, and they had no idea what to do with her. The teacher told me, I really have never had a child like this, and that was before any kind of diagnosis. And then finding an appropriate pre-K, and it's been really, really hard there. Searching for schools. Once we got her in kindergarten into a school, the next year I'd look again for something better because it wasn't a great fit. But that being said, elementary school, there are better fits, at least here in the Miami area. There are a few to choose from, as opposed to what happens when she ages out of that elementary school level, which is terrifying to me.
How important is it to you that Mila has access to a place like Autism Dream City that will focus on the needs, specifically like Mila? How important is it for her to have access to utilize a program like this?
Well, that's the current focus right now for me. She'll be done with elementary school in a year, and I'm extremely nervous to think about where it is that she's going to be. From parents that have older kids than I do, they don't have any good advice as far as where it is that Mila might be able to go or fit in. And I don't want to lose the progress that she's been making over the last couple of years. So, you know, she's a unique child, but yet she has the capacity to learn and to grow. And it's going to be essential that she finds that we find a really, really good fit for her. I believe the more resources that are there to be able to help her and kind of push her in that direction, the better it's going to be for her.
Yes, I worked with Mila for 3 years, and I've seen a lot of gains. Mom has been happy, I've been happy, and I've noticed with Mila that you just can't draw a line in the sand. You pretty much have to push them, and you just never know. They will teach you more than you teach them. Sometimes you get surprised, and I'm very pleased with her progress, and that's what we want to do, is continue progress, because I've seen and I believe. And that's what we offer. We're going to offer a lot. So what words would you use, or what would you tell other parents to encourage them to support a center that will definitely be have a lots to give with your experience with me, and would have lots to give as far as their specific needs?
I would tell families that I don't think that you have to settle. I don't think that you have to give up once your child ages out of elementary school. I think that our kids have a lot of potential, and it's sometimes not so obvious to see how it is that they can be reached and how it is that information can be pulled from them, so you see that they really do understand, they grasp things that maybe other folks wouldn't think that they could. But the fact that you see that in each of your students and you strive for that every day has made all of the children, I feel like, in your class grow and achieve levels that they haven't before. And I don't personally think, when I look at schools, when I look at places for my daughter or therapies for her, I don't really look so much to the center or the facility. I more look to the person behind that. And, you know, where she is right now, it's the teacher that keeps her there more than anything else. So, so knowing that Autism Dream City is going to be captained by you, puts me greatly at ease.
Thank you. Okay, if you had to use 3 words to describe Mila, what would it be?
I think she's easygoing, number 1, I would say. You know, she's lovable. I don't know anyone who's really spent any time with her and that hasn't like fallen in love with her. Easygoing, lovable, and positive. She's just always, she's always a ray of sunshine, I feel like.
Oh,
You know.
that's amazing. It's
Yeah.
completely true.
Yeah.
What is the funniest thing she's ever done? Funny.
What is the funniest thing she's ever done? I gotta think about that. I don't know. She's done some pretty funny things before. Well, I don't know. It depends on who you ask is funny. But she likes getting her hands into things that are goopy and creamy. She likes textures. So about a month ago or so, my husband was alone with her for a couple hours, and I came home to an unhappy husband because Mila's hand, he had discovered, was all white, and her shorts were white, and the chair was white, and he traced the footsteps back and realized that she had gotten into the fridge and pulled out a whole tub of yogurt and decided to kind of paint her room and the walls and the bedspread and the carpet, and yeah, she did all that.
That's
Lots
silly.
of fun. Yeah, so there's a lot of that. So just this morning it was toothpaste that she got into.
Okay.
So I have my comforter and sheets to wash now.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Yeah.
So what is like the most special moment that you've had with her? It could be like a holiday, a vacation time, kind of like a time that you had with yourself or her that you just keep dearly to your heart.
I would say, I mean, the beach is coming to mind first. She has come a long way with her beach experience. When she was a baby, she had a big sensory aversion to sand. We couldn't put her down on it. She'd shriek and cry. Or grass, she'd be terrified of. And she's kind of grown through that and past that. And the last time we went to the beach was the first time that she really was comfortable and loving it, and like in and out of the water and playing in the sand and just having a great time. And it wasn't work for us, it was fun for us.
Okay.
So that memory sticks out
Okay.
for sure.
Last question. Complete the sentence.
Okay.
Mila is as beautiful as a...
Mila is as beautiful as a mermaid, maybe?
Ooh, mermaid.
Yes, she's my mermaid.
She's your mermaid.
She is. I mean, you see her in the pool, she is so natural, and she's got the flowing hair
Yes.
underwater, and she
Yes.
just goes for it, and That's her
She
happy
actually
place.
got the most beautiful hair award in my classroom.
Oh, there you go.
And Miss Kundiel, you remember that? She got
Oh,
all
yeah.
the awards. Yeah,
Yes,
she's a
'cause she
model.
waves like
she
this,
waves like
yes.
this, so she gets the most congeniality award and the most beautiful hair. So it was a pleasure hearing your story. We've been together for years. I'm happy to help you and other parents in any form of way. We have a dream that we're building, and we believe that it's going to be successful. And thank you so much for giving us an interview.
I have no doubt it will be.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.